Hey everyone, in today's vlog, I want to talk about what it means to be present and the difference between presence and perception. There's a huge difference and I feel like it's really important to discuss this. Now, in today's vlog, I will be using the Law of One Tarot as reference. I'm going to relate this to the chakras, to the astrological signature, and the Tree of Life. So this is a really in-depth teaching, and I hope it helps you guys, because it really helped me. So first, let's just start off with defining what presence is, and this is from the dictionary.com, okay? The state of fact of existing, occurring, or being present in a place or thing. So when I read that, to me that just means that when you are somewhere, you're not in the past, nor are you in the future. You are just enjoying the feelings that your experience of wherever you are is creating, or you're hating the feelings of whatever experience, place that you're in are creating. And you become super conscious of them. That's what it means to me. Now, the card from the Law of One that I relate to presence is her. She is the High Priestess in the tarot deck. Now, this in the Law of One Tarot is the mind complex, and she is the potentiator. So she is, this woman right here, is the creator of all action. And she also represents the unconscious mind, which is a really scary thing, and I'll explain why later. But she is your unconscious mind, so all those memories that sit in your brain that have been collected from the age, from perception to under 3, it mostly, that's why it's the unconscious, that's why you don't remember, but that's her. So all of the things that we do are kind of from our lizard brain. These are things that we're not even aware of, and we act on them. So this is her. And she's the potentiator, but consciousness, presence, what we just talked about, this guy is presence, is where you need to be in order to create understanding. So what happens is you need to be conscious, and in the middle here between these two is presence, and I'll explain why. Now, I'm going to read off of this because I channel these, I feel like, and if you want to access my mind maps, I created a channel on Instagram called Spiritual Mind Maps, and it's under the link for File Most Spiritualist, I believe, but you can grab it from there if you want to. Now, the High Priestess, she is absolute limitless potential. You will realize how limitless you truly are when you become conscious, give consciousness to your unconscious. And how do you do this? You do it through intuition. About 8 years ago, I began to follow every single intuitive thought that I had, which brought me to consciousness and to break this barrier of the unconscious. And that's how I realize how limitless I really am. Now, so she is your unconscious mind. He is your conscious mind. Now, limitless potential can only be activated when consciousness, the magician, is brought to the unconscious, her. The unconscious must be penetrated by the conscious, very similar to the beginning of life as a sperm penetrates the egg. The sperm endures an arduous journey to get to the egg as you experience, the same way that you experience a life of suffering. So sperm has to travel upwards, many die, goes through hell in order to fertilize a female ovum, a female egg. And that is a symbolism of how we live our life in suffering. We're always kind of going uphill, and it's like, why can't I just get a break? Why can't I go downhill for a hot second? Why? It's her. Okay? So before bringing consciousness to the unconscious, it is here where intuition is held. So we talked about that. She holds intuition. It is here where love exposes its deepest meaning only once you are sick and tired of the suffering, the hate, the anger, the ego. So it's only when you begin to step back and look at your suffering and ask yourself, why am I going? Life isn't supposed to be a battle. Why am I constantly going uphill? I don't want that anymore. It is then when you're sick and tired of it, tired of the ego, the suffering, that the unconscious will begin to turn itself and surrender to the conscious once the magician, consciousness, reaches inside the unconscious. Once exposed, consciousness begins to grow. This begins to grow like an embryo in a mother's womb. That made sense to me. I mean, I wrote it, and I hope it's making sense so far. So just quickly, what it's saying is, once you're sick and tired of the suffering that's created by the unconscious mind, remember, there's limitless potential here. Once you bring consciousness into here, you become present, you are bringing these two closer. So once you bring these two closer, it's not that they overlap each other, but they just start working together. As they work together, you start seeing this expansion, and the expansion shows itself from your external environment. The expansion of these two, you will see through Mother Nature. Like, for me, in the beginning, I would go for walks and I started really enjoying the birds, the sounds of nature. That was these two expanding. I started really stopping and smelling the roses. That was these two expanding. And as I surrendered the unconscious and with following every intuitive thought and started to come within my own power, that's when my creativity, which is all in her, because she is also the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is right below your belly button, and it is all creative force. It also represents your feelings. The only way you can get creative and really live life to its full potential, which is joy, prosperity, happiness, enlightenment, all of that, is when you get your feelings in check. When you really, this guy becomes conscious with the presence in between and understands the unconscious and starts to bring love to her, bring love to the intuition that is in her. Then the intuition continues to grow, which grows your creativity. So she is raw creative power, which comes forth when intuition is followed. Wisdom and understanding with the energy of receptivity creates power from this internal source lying dormant in most. Okay? Now, I also want to talk about the tree of life. So the tree of life is really important, near and dear to me. You know what, I have it on my Instagram page if you don't know what the tree of life looks like. Now, in the tree of life, she is present. So this here kind of represents the tree of life. So this is her. She is called Gimel in the tree of life. And she lies between Kether Kether, which is God, essentially. And she lies between Tifereth, which is our spirit, which is the sun. This is the sub-logo. So God is the logos. He's the creator of all. He's unity. God created the sun, and the sun is the sub-logos because the sun gives us life. We have life. Thank you for the beauty of the sun's rays, which are light is wisdom, light is energy. So Gimel in the tree of life, what she represents in the tree of life is the inner gateway to, the gateway to the inner all-knowing self, the inner mysteries behind all forms of spirituality, the opposite of consciousness. So in order to experience her, like I said, you have to go opposite of fear. You have to become conscious of all the abundance around you, which starts diminishing the fear, the anxiety, and the lower vibrational feelings. Okay, so consciousness must traverse the abyss. She is part of the abyss, so the abyss is the veiling, and it's kind of like we're supposed to forget about love. It's meant to happen. That's what the third dimension is all about. That's why when you look at her, you see she's got a veil right here, right? So that's her, the abyss. She's veiled us purposely. We have the unconscious so that we go through a life of suffering to know what the opposite, what the polarity is, because this planet is all about polarity. So we have to experience the suffering in order to really know love, because she holds absolute love inside of her, but you have to access that. The astrological signature is the moon, the subtle reflection of self, and the sense of a deep knowing. We all know that about the moon, right? It's like if you're insides, if she is really, if you're running mainly from your unconscious mind, from fear, ego, negativity, those are the types of people where, you know, when it's a full moon, when the moon is really out, the moon pulls on your water, the moon will bring all of those emotions and bring them up. That's why people are always blaming stuff on the full moon, because it does do that. It pulls on your water. Water is feelings. Water is emotions in your body, and she is water. So if your feelings aren't in check and your emotions are not in check, then yeah, you are going to feel the effects of the moon. That's her trying to get rid of the garbage. Like, she wants the conscious. She wants you to bring presence to her. That's what she wants. She wants to help you. So that is that. I actually have a lot more things that I wanted to talk about, but we're out of time. And I just also want to say I will link below my references for this. It's myself from the channeling. I also use the Law of One study by Joseph Darts, and then the Spirit Science channel, the Major Arcana Pathway of the Soul. Oh, and then I also use Druno Moldavich, his question and answers episode 4. Now, if you have any other questions, please comment below, because I wanted to talk about the 4 states of knowing, but maybe that's a different video. If you do access this, it's on here. Yeah, I hope that helps you guys, and let me know what you think. Comment below. I'm always learning. I love it when people give me their perception and their opinion. Love you guys.